What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing? It's your boy Reg in the building. So, like I said, I'm going to actually just finish the rest of this shelf today. Then I'm going to get into this one, but I have to, as you can see, I have to do some organizing right here. So, yeah, this should not be too long, but let's get this shit started. First album I'm about to show you guys tonight. It's Too Short with Life is Too Short. This is actually his fifth album, technically, but let's just say his second major label album. This is a fucking classic, 1988. This was known for his song Life is Too Short, I Ain't Trippin', cuss words, rhymes, nobody does it better. I love this record. This record definitely one of my favorite Too Short albums, 1988, classic. Then we got 1990, Short Dogs in the House. This came out, 2 years after Life is Too Short. Very good album in my opinion. I feel like this one don't get its just due sometimes. This is known for songs like It's Your Life. Love that record. The Ghetto, Short But Funky, where he was throwing shots at MC Hammer with that one. Dead or Alive, Ain't Nothing But a Word to Me, Paula and Janet. Love this record. Oh, The Ghetto. Forgot about that one. Then we have Get In Where You Fit In, 1993. Another very good album. This is actually my second favorite Too Short album, This is when, he was heavily with Ant Banks. This was known for songs like Don't Fight the Intro, I'm a Player, Money in the Ghetto. Possibly my favorite Too Short song, Blowjob Betty. Ooh, I love the way how he flipped that lady, the Sister Nancy sample, excuse me. Yeah, man, very dope album. Classic. Then we have 1995 with Cocktails. This album came out. This was the first solo rapper to actually have a live hip hop band, doing like the arrangements and everything. Very good album. I love this album cover. This album cover is raw as fuck. This was known for songs like, Can I Get Things Changed, Pay Style, which I love that song, Top Down, Sample the Funk. Very great record. Then we have 1996 with Getting It. This album came out. Originally, this was supposed to have been his final album originally, but what ended up happening was the fact that, he came back 3 years later. This was actually another very great album, in my opinion. Like, of course, they didn't give me the track listing. Yeah, man, this was known for songs like fucking the title track. That was a great song. Hold on, I gotta pull up the track listing. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So What You're Saying, That's Why, my favorite song possible from the album. Fuck My Car was good. This whole fucking record was just a nice little. If this was supposed to have been his last album, then he would probably end it off right. All right. Then we got 2000s is You Nasty. It's been a while since I've actually heard this record. This came out like a year after Can't Stay Away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I definitely gotta come back to this CD. Then we have Traffic with The Low Spark of High Heeled Boys. This came out in 1993. A very great album in my opinion. Traffic, you guys should know. That's Steve Winwood, his group back in the late 60s, early 70s. Known for songs like Dear Mr. Fantasy. Dear Mr. Fantasy. Yeah, man, classic shit. Sorry about that. I get some water. This was known for songs like the title track, which in my opinion, my favorite Traffic song. I love that dun 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 dun. I mean, that fucking piano with the sax. They did a very good live performance. I want to say it was Old Gray Whistle. They did some shit like that. If I can find it, I'll post it on the community tab. Rock and Roll Stew was good. Rainmaker. This was a very great album. I love it. Then we're gonna go to Tribe Called Quest with the People's Instinctive Travels and Paths of Rhythm. Very, very, very dope album. This is actually a very classic album. My third favorite Tribe Called Quest album. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was very jazzy. I love Bonita Applebum. That and the Hootie Mix. Fire. Can I Kick It? Mr. Muhammad. Go Ahead in the Rain. Luck of Lucian. Very, very cool, calm album and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I love when Bel-Air, the show Bel-Air, not the Fresh Prince, but the Bel-Air reboot, they played Rhythm devoted to the art of shaking butts. I think like the second or third episode. That was hot as fuck. Then we have The Low End Theory. This album came out in 1991. My favorite Tribe album, in my opinion. Like, this album to me definitely solidified them artistically, way better than People's Extinction Travels in the past. You had Fife rapping more on this record. You know, this was just banger after banger after banger, from Bugging Out to Verses from the Abstract, which that's my favorite song on the record. Jazz We've Got. Oh, jazz. We got the jazz. We got the jazz. We got the jazz. We got the jazz. I mean, very, very, very dope record right there. Of course, everybody knows Scenario with Leaders of the New School, which we've recently just talked about Leaders of the New School, both of their albums, so check that out. Man, I talk so much about this album, it's not even funny. Then in 1993, we got Midnight Marauders. This came out. Now, I know a lot of people are surprised that this is not my favorite. This is actually my second favorite Tribe album. You know, again, nothing to it, because either or can be my favorite, but Low End Theory, to me, that was just my fucking vibe right there. This one, again, very great album. Electric Relaxation. I mean, believe it or not, that's actually possibly the first Tribe song I've heard, because that was when the Wayans brothers, the first two seasons, they had like the first maybe 10-20 seconds, you know, as a theme song. After they did that, we're brothers, we're happy, and we're singing, and we're colored. Give me a high five. Yeah, man. But it's crazy too, because if you watch the Wayans brothers, the first two seasons on HBO Max, and then I think the DVDs, they don't have the Electric Relaxation. They just have like a generic version of the song, which again, I mean, it's not bad, but you know how I am when it comes. I'm a completist. You know, Suck a Nigga. We can get down was dope. Oh My God. God Lives Through, my favorite track of this album, you know. Very, very, very dope album. I love this one. Then we have the Beats, Rhymes, and Life album from 1996. This was a very interesting album because this was recorded when Fife had moved to Atlanta, and, you know, Q-Tip was trying to bring, you know, Consequence in the picture. You know, he was working closely with JD, who you guys will know as Jay Dilla, you know. This was the album, in my opinion, where it was kind of like the beginning of the end. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a cool album. It's a good album. It has a lot of good songs like Jam, Mind Power, Crew, Keeping It Moving, Phony Rappers, my favorite song off that record, you know what I'm saying? But with this album, you know, with Fife and Q-Tip not rapping together as prominently, you know, it kind of threw off the chemistry a little bit. And you guys should know, Fife was talking about this album. He was saying how sometimes he'll have to travel back to New York when they were recording the album, and sometimes he'll come and then they'll already be gone. So he'll either have to put his verse after, or, you know, he'll just have to like let Consequences verse stay on wax, which I thought that was kind of messed up, to be real with you, but it is what it is. So yeah, man. This is actually, again, a very dope record. It's not as good as the first three, but I can still vibe with it. Track name, we got album number 5. We got The Love Movement. This came out in 1998. I'm gonna be real with you. This might be my least favorite Tribe album. Again, you know, with Q-Tip and Fife going through their little situation, you know what I'm saying? They had like a bit more guest appearances on this album too, and some of the guest appearances kind of was trying to bring that good spirit to the group and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of crazy too because like it wasn't that many songs they were rapping together, Tip and Fife, but I mean, it's a cool album. Like Find a Way was good. The Booty was alright. What was that one joint they did? Give Me with Noriega, that's pretty dope. Buster's Limit. I mean, for Tribe fans, you can find something to get at, but it's alright, And then finally, we got unfortunately, the last album. We got it from here. Thank you for the service. This was a very, very, very dope album. This album came out around the time when Fife was dying of diabetes. He was dying of diabetes, and wait, actually, hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if I got the time right. Yeah, okay. So he died from diabetes, and then they announced they were working on an album. Because originally, I think from what I looked up, it was supposed to have been a collab between Tribe and Outkast, allegedly, but they ended up just having this album, and then it's special because Jarobi, he came back, he came back to fill in the void, and you had like a lot more appearances from Busta Rhymes, which I felt like this album was a nice little return to form. It's a nice way to end off a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as final rap albums go, this is definitely among my favorites. I mean, you have songs like Solid Wall of Sound, The Space Program, We the People. Enough. I mean, very, very, very great album, in my opinion. It's a shame that we lost Phife Dawg the way we lost him. R.I.P. to him. Diabetes is not a joke, man. Y'all, we have to watch our health, y'all, for real. And then we got True with the True album. This came out 1995. This was Master P, C Murder, and Silk the Shocker. Very, very, very dope album. My favorite album from True. One of my favorite No Limit albums, period. Like, that's the thing. No Limit, man. Say what you want about No Limit. It had some heat. This album had songs like Mobbing Through My Hood, Another Day, Another Dollar, I'm All About the Money and Power. I mean, come on, man. I love the way they flipped that. I want to say they sampled it was a Cameo sample. That was a dope sample. They did that. Living That Life. Love that record. Anything Goes. I'm About It. The first I'm About It. It was on this album. And I think the second one. The second one was on the Ice Cream Man album and shit too. So yeah, man, very, very, very dope album. Must have in your collection. All right, now we're gonna get into Twista Kamikaze. It's on the Ill Out Scratch, Creep With Me album and stuff like that too. So I gotta get that album back again. So yeah, Twista Kamikaze. This album came out in 2004. I'm not a big fan of this record. I mean, this has songs like Slow Jams, Overnight Celebrity. The Twista I like was mostly 90s, maybe up to early 2000s. I mean, he still kills it on guest appearances, but this one was a bit too commercial for my taste. I'm not a big fan of this one. Then we got Tyler the Creator with Wolf. This album came out 2012. Very dope album. In my opinion, one of my favorite Tyler albums he's ever came out with. This album really came out when he definitely was trying to add like be more personal with his material. You know what I'm saying? He was like very influenced by Marshall Mathers LP. Songs like Answers, Tree Home 95. Boy, man, this whole album gives me high school vibes. Oh, excuse me, it dropped in 2013. Excuse me. Yeah, man, this was like my senior year. This album dropped. I mean, Sanderson High, man. Shout out to my boy AJ. Then we have the next album, Flower Boy. This album came out 2017. Very, very dope album. It's probably my favorite Tyler Creator album he's came out with. 911 Mr. Lonely. Love that record. You know what I'm saying? I Ain't Got Time. That's a dope track. Who That Boy. I mean, this was pretty much like a talented creator, like having more creative control and shit. So yeah. Then we have Tyrese with "I Want to Go There." This album came out in 2002. Yeah, this was a blind. This was part of a CD lot. Not a really big fan. Like I said before, when it comes to Tyrese, I just like the first album. Anything after the first album is hit or miss. This has songs like "Why You Gotta Act Like That," which I never cared for that song. I mean, he's a interesting figure, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Then we got U2, "Unforgettable Fire," 1984. My favorite U2 album from that earlier period. Yeah, pretty dope album. You know what I'm saying? Songs like "Pride in the Name of Love," "4th of July," "Elvis Presley in America." I mean, you can't go wrong with this album. This was them finding their sound and shit. And then we got the Joshua Tree. This came out in 1987. This album again was pretty dope. Pretty dope, you know. A lot of people say this is their best album. Again, I have nothing against it. You know, it had a lot of joints, but a lot of my favorite U2 albums are the ones that they just go completely off the grain a little bit. So, "Where the Streets Have No Name," I love that record. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I've always hated that song. Sounds too Christian rock to me. "In God's Country," "With or Without You," I love the beat to that. Yeah, man, this was classic. This actually won the Grammy for Album of the Year back in 1988. This album, very great album, "Rattle and Rum." A lot of people don't like this album, you know. This was like a soundtrack to their documentary film at the time. You know, they definitely went more jazzier, roots rock. I mean, some of my favorite U2 songs on this album, I'm not even gonna hold you. "Desire," I love that record. "Angel of Harlem," that is my joint right there. They did a cover of "All Along the Watchtower." You know, "Bullet in the Blue Sky" was pretty good, you know. I mean, it's a live album slash album, soundtrack album, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is a very underrated album. Then we have "Ardong Baby," 1991. This album to me was very good as well too. This was, you know, because you gotta remember, after Rattle and Rum, they literally almost broke up, but they were working on this album. Especially when it came to the one song, which love that record. Love that record. That might be my favorite U2 song. Crazy thing, I actually got into that song by Mary J. Blige's version of "One" from the Breakthrough album. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, this also has songs like Mysterious Way." I love that track. They did a cover of, actually no, excuse me, "The Fly," "Ultraviolet." Yeah, man. Again, this was the Fly Bono. So yeah, all my U2 fans, y'all should know about that. All right, we got a few more albums left. I'm just gonna wrap this shit up. Then we got U2 with "Zooropa." This album came out in 1993. You know, call me crazy, but I feel like this was their best album of the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I actually like this a bit better than "Ardong Baby." They really went electronic with this album. You know, I thought I was not gonna like this album, but you know what? It has like some nice grooves, like "Lemon." Love that record. "Daddy's Gonna Pay for Your Crash Car," my favorite song on the album. "Zooropa," "Babyface." Even like the videos were just so tripped out. You know what I'm saying? So I like this record. Finally, U2 album, "Pop." Now, a lot of people have said this is their least favorite U2 album, which, call me crazy, I don't feel like it should deserve the hate that it usually gets. Like I said, call me crazy, but this was like I said, it was a very weird album. I still to this day don't know how I really feel about it, but I don't really fully hate it. It has some good songs like "Staring at the Sun," "Do You Feel Loved," you know, "The Playboy Mansion." You know what I'm saying? Like, be real, I'd rather listen to U2's period, this album from U2, than like "Get a Grip" from Aerosmith, Even actually no, excuse me, the Nine Lives album from Aerosmith that came out in '97 too. So yeah. Then we have You God with the Golden Arms Redemption. This album came out in 1999. A very great album, in my opinion. I feel this album that kind of gets a little slept on. You know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like Glide, That's Gangsta, Bizarre, Rumble. It's better than a certain other second wave Wu albums at this time too. So I'll take it or leave it. All right, got about 4 more albums. Let's get it. Ultramagnetic MCs, Four Horsemen. This album came out 1993 on, Wild Pitch. Yeah, they left Mercury Records after Mercury kind of screwed over with according to them, it screwed over with what's the album? Which is the Funk Your Head Up album, which I actually like the album, but there was like they had Mercury remix the album without letting Ultramagnetic MCs know. So they got back to their roots with this one. Back to the whole battle rap, braggadocio, whatever you want to call it. Kool Keith Rhythm X, that's all you had to know about with this album. Like, this album had bang after bang after bang of that. Like, Checking My Style, Return to Zero. Checking My Style, Return to Zero. Two Brothers with Check. Putting, oh my God, Raise It Up. Saga of the Dandy, The Devil and Day. 1212, Yo Black, Big Booty. Come on, what the fuck, nigga? Are you fucking kidding me, nigga? And that's why I'm saying it's hard picking a favorite Ultramagnetic MC's album. Like, their first 3 albums alone could be a contender for the best. Of course, Critical Beatdown, that being like the most influential. Funk Your Head Up, in my opinion, I feel like that one was very ill. It had a very dark kind of sound to it, but at the same time, it was very New York. That's what I loved about it. With this one, they had Godfather Don, and Godfather Don gave them that jazziness, when it came to certain tracks, you know what I'm saying? Anything but the last album they came in, The Best Kept Secret from 2007. Oh, that's why we forget about that one. All right, and then the final 3 albums, I'm just going to show these off. We got Usher Raymond, I had 8701. I had that album, but for some odd reason, I think I've misplaced it and I cannot find it for some odd reason. So I gotta buy that again. But first album for Usher, very underrated. This is when he was down with Puff. He was doing songs like Think of You, Slow Love, Love Was There. This album kind of got some controversy because this boy was talking all this like grown up kind of things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I liked it, Then we have his breakthrough album, My Way. Very, very great album in my opinion, Now songs like Nice and Slow, You Make Me Wanna, Slow Jam, Cover. This was the first album he worked with Jermaine Dupri too. So, Jermaine Dupri, that was his dog to this day, And then final album is Confessions. My favorite Usher album. Probably my favorite R&B album of the decade too, you know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like Confessions, Throwback, Caught Up in the Thing, Caught Up. I mean, yeah, this album was everywhere back in 2004. This was what R&B truly sounded like, So yeah. All right, so thank y'all so much for watching this one. I'm definitely gonna finish off this shelf. Hopefully, I can finish this whole thing off in one setting. I just gotta again reorganize this whole thing. But thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more material. Peace.